Yeah, correct.
And Bert. All open.
Okay. Now you can lie. Roll call.
Cow,
Here.
Brattset,
Here.
Miller,
Here. New business. Discussion and possible action concerning application for a conditional use permit for sand and gravel extraction and reclamation for tax parcel 024-0516-0522-000 located at North 2463 Highway 106 Jefferson 53549, owned by Brattset LLC, and 2437 Brattset Lane, Jefferson 53549.
Before you go any further, I'd like to make a couple comments.
Okay, equality.
All right, I'll talk loud and take my mask off. First, I want to point out that what this meeting is not, because I think there's some confusion about what the meeting is. It's not a public hearing. The town of Palmyra has not, in the past 8 years at least, which is the time during which this board has been seated, held public hearings on conditional use permit petitions. The public hearing will occur at the Jefferson County level and is scheduled for May 20th, 2021 at 7 p.m. in room 205 of the Jefferson County Courthouse in Jefferson, Wisconsin. That's the public hearing. This meeting is for members of the Palmyra Town Board to hear from the petitioners, so members of the board are able to understand the project for which a conditional use permit is being requested and make an informed decision on the merits of the project. Since I have been on the town board, it has been our policy that the petitioner needs to contact property owners within a quarter mile of the subject property and notify them of the project for which a conditional use permit is being requested. We have never required that these property owners need to be in agreement with the petition, only that they're made aware of the process. If the chairman wishes, he can certainly take questions for the petitioner from the public. However, this is entirely up to the chairman. At the close of the discussion between the petitioners and the town board, the chairman will call for a vote to determine whether the members of the board wish to approve or disapprove of the petition. Then the petition will proceed to the county zoning committee, where a final decision will be made after that committee views the property, holds a public hearing, and they'll have a separate meeting for a decision. The county zoning committee can approve or deny the petition regardless of any decision that the town board makes. Their approval or denial is not dependent in any way on what the town board does. Town decisions are due in the county zoning office by the second Friday in the month, and in April, the second Friday is before the second Monday. This special meeting was requested by the petitioners because the regular Palmyra Town Board meeting is after the deadline for the town's decision to be sent to the county for the zoning committee's consideration at their May meeting. Although the petitioners began the necessary process months ago, the environmental research, engineering plans, and reclamation planning process for a successful project apparently takes a great deal of time, so it's been in the works for months. That's the explanation of the purpose and timing of this meeting. The next issue is the matter of my personal connection to this petition. You all know I'm Winona Brattset. The property involved belongs to 2 of my adult children. I do not, nor have ever had, ownership of this property. I am not dependent upon either of them for 1/2 of my support, nor are they on me. Therefore, if I wish to vote on this matter, according to Wisconsin statutes, I am legally able to do so, if I wish to. And if anybody is curious, there's a legal opinion concerning that, so you're welcome to it.
Did you have a copy of what you just read, with the dates? I don't want to read.
I think I have one extra copy. I've got one extra copy. You can also find it on the county website.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Yep. Anybody else want a copy of the legal opinion? Yeah. Okay. All right.
I I would remind everyone that the town board decision is only advisory. It carries really not that much merit. It's up to the county board, and that's where any petitions or complaints or anything else would be heard, would be at that meeting. This is actually just a town board meeting, but I will allow questions from Randy Johnson, the Vice President of Johnson Sand and Gravel, as a courtesy to the public.
May I make a comment?
You may.
My objection is not with the issue, but with the meeting itself. In the past 8 years, we have not held a special meeting for a rezone variance or conditional use. We've always made the applicant wait until the next regular meeting. The fact that the applicants are Mrs. Brattset's daughter and son-in-law could also lead to the perception of favoritism. Another issue is having the meeting in the morning. This may be more convenient for the board, but not necessarily for the public. And yes, the county doesn't have to do as the town does, but they generally do. Whoever made up the agenda to not ask me about my availability just shows the arrogance of some members of this board. I was never contacted to see if I was available for this meeting, and I think that says a lot about what's going on with this board.
Mr. Johnson is available right now for questions. Anybody have questions?
You're with the Sand and Gravel?
Yes, Randy Johnson.
Yeah, well, I guess you're gonna have meetings later on, which I'm just like to see a profile of the height of the property, how much will be evacuated from it over the time.
Excavated.
Yeah,
The town has copies of the maps. We have extra copies.
well,
It's about 13 acres that would be affected.
13.
Yeah.
And can you explain where it is, Randy, give them a little better
So-
rundown on this?
Yeah.
Well,
Can you
have
say your
a-
name and address too, so we can put it in the minutes?
give it-
You like that, Doc?
Yeah.
You talk.
well, you can.
Just say it.
Excuse me. You said you had a map, a copy of it. I still can kind of read it, and this is for me to keep.
Sure.
How many years is this gonna go on?
Well, it all depends on demand in the marketplace. The main reason we were trying to get approved is for the upcoming repaving job on 106. There's one coming up that's bidding in May, and then there's another one, I believe, I think it was October.
I can't hear you.
Can we turn the heat off?
Huh?
Can we turn the heat off?
Can I pull my mask down?
No, the heat, like
Yeah,
the
turn
heater.
it off.
Let's just do it immediately.
No, that's not gonna show up.
No. It'll take a little bit.
So, as I was saying, it all depends on demand. The main reason we're proposing this now is there's upcoming projects on 106, repaving projects on 106 coming up in May that there would be bid. One project and another one I believe in October. So, that being said, we're coming in and asking for like a 5-year time frame to mine and restore this property. Now, keep in mind, it's not going to be 365 days a year, you know, round the clock type of thing. It's we'd move our crushing plant in for a month, stockpile material, and then the most activity on the site would just be loading that material out. So we expect maybe a month to 2 months out of the year that we'd actually be on site processing.
So how many trucks a day would be running up this thing?
It all depends on the project, you know.
I have concern about all the trucks and that's gonna be going in and out of this place for noise, and pressure's gonna be noise.
Right.
And,
The crusher is about 90 decibels, so that's about the same or less than a Harley
you got all
Davidson.
these cats and that going and get your little beep, 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 beep all the time, backing up and going forward.
Yeah,
I mean, this is, no one in person a lot of quick times, but when our tower was put in, they were all against that, they didn't want that. Now, the neighbors are against this, dead set against this fact.
well, all our equipment is newer.
It's in our backyard. It's in our backyard, it's not in person's and, no one's backyard, because we're the ones that's gonna put up with this stuff all the time, in and out for the next 5 years, and that's a lot of time. But here, a year ago, they were doing trucks on Highway 18 coming by, we were so sick of gravel trucks coming by for over 2 months that, we were just fed up with that. So we're gonna be fed up with this deal too, and I'm sorry to say, I like my neighbors, but the neighbors should consider what this is doing to us. Whether this is a money thing over personal feelings for the neighbors, I don't know. And that's what I kind of feel this is just a money-making thing, but, it's gonna cause the neighbors a lot of grief and pain for this to be put through. I would recommend that Kirsten and Nona kill this whole project right here now. Because it's coming in our backyard, it's not in our backyard. If this gravel pit was going in north of their house over there, I wouldn't have any complaints about it, because they'd have to be putting up with the noise and all the traffic and everything else. But I think they should consider what they're doing to the neighbors. They're seriously taking it to the neighbors.
You have to take your grievance to the county, they're the ones that are gonna vote on it, we're just advisory. The county will
I
do,
just wanna, it's one of the ones that are doing it,
right, go to the county. We're advisory, whether we vote approve it or not, it doesn't matter, it doesn't
I
matter.
understand that, but I don't
Okay.
know, we feel as neighbors to have this done.
Correct, but your
Because if it's in your
concerns,
backyard, you would probably feel the same way.
your concerns go to the county hearing, but that's okay. Any other questions?
If that material was not available, where's the closest access that you'd be able to get the material for those
that we would
projects?
Sell to the project.
Yeah, if this project is killed, where would you be getting the material to do the jobs that you're bidding?
I guess our next closest place would be Bowers Road, 943. That would have that type.
How many miles is that?
It's in Elkhorn.
Elkhorn?
Yeah. Sorry, Elkhorn area.
So this material that's on the Brattset site is a good type material to make base out of. So that's what they'd be using for the 106 project.
And there would be no wash plant,
No,
just
no
dry?
water plant, no blasting, it's just sand and gravel. So we'd just be looking at making base, road base, shouldering base. So, county may use some of it for shouldering.
Is it likely the dust would be any more than a farmer's field when they're working the field?
All our equipment's newer. We control the dust. We're by law, we're required to control the dust by state statute, by federal statute. We operate 7 sites in Waukesha and Walworth counties right now. We have very few complaints, if at all, about our sites. We do a good job. We're a family business. We're second generation. We've been in business since the early 60s, and we just take pride in what we do.
I totally agree with you. I'm well aware of the company.
Could you repeat, how, you said the crusher would come in for a period of?
A month.
Yeah, they're high production plants, so we'd come in and just stockpile material, and then the rest of the time would be load out. So load out is generally April to November.
The long,
He wants to know how long is the crush plant
that
gonna
the
be crushing
crusher
on site?
will be running and piling stock?
We anticipate a month to 2
A
months,
month.
somewhere in there.
One
Probably
to
more
2
like a month
months. One,
out of the year,
Per
Thank you.
season, yeah.
per calendar year, yeah.
oh, so you bring it back?
Yes, it's portable.
It's
So
portable.
you're moving it out as demand
Okay,
requires.
okay.
Isn't 106
And that's
basically a grind and repave project though?
It is, I don't know what the plans are yet
So
as far as
what's
base.
I mean,
Because
you
they still
use the
use some
106
base
as a way
for,
to get in, but to me, that's a moot point, because you're not gonna really use it, maybe for shoulders.
yeah, shouldering
That's about it.
and base underneath the, some areas.
So it's pretty much just for other projects, it's not mainly for the 106.
Yeah, any local project around the area. It's not just 106.
Any other questions?
I
Yeah.
wanted to know, you said there's a study involved with this?
Study.
Yeah, I thought you said you were gonna have a study.
We did a hydrology study, even though we're not planning on going in the water or, you know, digging wells or,
The reason I asked is they tried to open this once before, I don't know if it was Wolf or who it was. But the quality of the gravel wasn't conducive with what the project was. Is that gonna be something that you're gonna have to address before?
I'm not sure who tried to open it or what they're looking for. We dug
I don't
test
know.
holes, and tested the site. We feel it's, would suit our needs.
And I can tell you in the last 23 years since I've owned the property, we haven't tried to open it.
I'm sorry, Chris, what?
In the last 23 years since I've owned the property, we have not tried to open it.
Oh, no, I didn't say you. Well, we've been here 35 years, so it happened.
It was Wolf.
It probably was, yeah.
I guess that was my call. I was looking to purchase that property through Wolf, and why he didn't supply that. There was a question I talked to him on the phone about, and I believe his response to me was the quality of that didn't need their needs for the project of redoing the highway in front of the quarry area. That being said, and I believe they went across the street, which kind of blew my mind about that, but that's what was told me at that time. That's what I remember about it. That's all.
I'm not
That-
sure.
that's
I
what-
asked Wolf, the kids, about the site. They have no recollection of any history on it, so I don't know.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, I got his number, through, Gaussman or some area, and anyhow, that's, and I spoke to him on that.
Mhm.
What does this have to do, or not have to do, but how does this affect the pipeline that's behind the property? Involve shaking and moving?
We've had numerous sites right next to pipelines. In fact, we have pipelines that run through some of our sites and we've never had issues with anything as far as that goes.
I have a question for the town board. Has anybody ever complained about this gravel pit being an eyesore?
No, she's the, ask her. We have a question for you. From the gentleman. He has a question.
Has anybody complained about it being an eyesore?
I mean, you're reclaiming this to make it look possibly better,
And to be more safe?
but
We've had safety issues in the gravel pit.
Better or worse?
We've definitely had safety issues in the gravel pit, from kids out there partying, from people wanting to dump garbage and refuse in it. We've definitely had issues like that in the gravel pit. We've had safety issues of kids in the gravel pit. We've had safety issues of snowmobiles by the gravel pit. They're all trespassers, granted, because we haven't given any of them permission to be in the property, yet they still do access the property.
Explain how high the bluff is and the fact that it's caved
I mean, every year that bluff caves in. If you drive in there right now, you'll see that there's cave-ins from this year on that bluff. It is a steep bluff.
But is there gonna be more erosion, I think, what slope is this going to be? Is this going to be a 20% slope or 40% slope?
The main slope,
Lay down to where you're gonna do this, or is this going to be, and what is the intention?
yeah, the main slope on the highest point will be 4 to 1, and then it levels out as you go to the north.
how many feet from the top of the hill down to the.
Do you have a
one
map?
across
Do you
is
want a
the
map?
how many feet are you
Yeah.
going
So
down?
we can vote and they can
He's got
show
it.
us the orders, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna call a vote, and then you can ask more questions. Mr. Miller has a point. Okay? So, I will move to approve this conditional use permit, for Johnson Sand and Gravel. There's no more discussion. All in favor? Aye.
Abstain.
She abstains. There's 2 ayes. Motion carried.
I mean, I can
Motion
answer.
to adjourn?
No, let them ask questions.
Oh, you have more questions? Okay.
I mean, they answered the question so that, it's just so everybody knows, there's a state law that requires now, any pit that is reopened or that is any ground that is newly broken, that be reclaimed, that a reclamation plan be done, submitted to the county reviews the plan, and has to approve that plan. And the state statute clearly defines how steep the slopes can be, what the setbacks are. I mean, there's a lot of rules and regulations involved at the state level, through NR 135 is a state statute, I believe. And so their rule is it can be a 3-to-1 slope, but we said, no, we want to be able to mow it and maintain it. We personally think the property is a mess right now. It's a highly steep erodible hill that I've never been able to mow just due to its topography on the property. And, I mean, if anybody drives by the property, they can see the top part we mow, because that was in CRP, which is expiring. But the bottom part of the property is just an invasive species mess, and we would like to reclaim it, be able to mow it. We have no intention of developing it into more houses like happened across the street when they mined it out. We just want to, we can't afford to reclaim it if we don't take gravel out of the pit. And once the gravel comes out of the pit, Randy's required to reclaim it. So that's our overall goal of the property. And would we like it if it was in our backyard? It's not possible to be in our backyard because we own all the land surrounding our house, and we have a conservation easement on that land. So no development, no mine extraction, nothing can happen on that property. So, you know,
But you still wouldn't like it if someone else, your neighbor was close enough and wanted to do this, you wouldn't.
so we bought the property surrounding our house. We bought that property because it surrounds our house. So we
Oh,
did
I
buy
hear
that
you.
property, you know, so.
But unfortunately, there's like 6 houses within,
And again, the zoning on that property.
Those weren't there when they bought the
Yeah, those,
property.
their houses weren't there when the gravel pit was, and so,
Correct.
you know, it is what it is. Yeah.
When you do the restoration, what is your objective as far as your slope?
It
At
will be
the
a
end.
4-to-1 slope.
A foot?
On the highest point, and then if you got a copy of the map there, it levels out. And it's-
So 4-to-1, I thought you said it was 4-to-1 now.
No, I don't even know what it is now, but there's a lot of erosion. Over the years, when it was farmed as row crop land, if you look at the property, you can see where there was a lot of erosion that happened on that hillside. Now it's all just grass and invasive trees on it, on the front of that hill.
to me, it looks like it's pretty much the same slope.
That drawing got compressed a little bit. It's not as steep as that.
Well, then it's
Because
gonna
of
be
the-
as steep either, so I mean, it's kind of irrelevant. Still gonna be a steep slope, but you're not gonna be able to mow it like any road.
Well, 4-to-1 slope is, you should be able to mow that, no problem. 3-to-1 is a statute actually, so we're going more gradual.
And it'll be seeded down immediately, so it's not like it will be a row crop field like when they tried to put corn on it that eroded, so.
So this, I mean, with my experience so far, what we've had with kind of with the town board, they didn't, if I remember, they didn't deny anything on the Guardian pipeline. And when it goes to Jefferson, and with my experience is Jefferson never turned anything down, no matter how much complaints they got from the public or anything. So my opinion is this is a done deal right now.
Bob, we were not able, we had no authority, and I wasn't on the board,
I
of
know.
course, but there was absolutely no authority to deny Guardian Pipeline. That was a federal project.
Yeah,
We couldn't stop it, if you
We
remember.
forced the town board to go with us and stay.
They did. They wrote a letter opposing it, and so,
Jefferson County.
yes, they did. I have those letters in my file at home.
Yeah.
They certainly, the county opposed it, and the town opposed it. And we could do nothing, it was a federal project. kind of apples and oranges. This is a totally different issue. This is a local issue, and you have every right in the world to be opposed to it and to
Not on
voice
the
your
agenda
opinion.
either, so we shouldn't be talking about it. Not on the
Not
agenda
an
either,
agenda
so-
item.
Oh, oh, that's a discussion.
We could adjourn the meeting and talk.
If there's no more questions.
Thank you, Mitch, for your
Motion to adjourn.
information.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adjourn. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? No.